I think personal trainers like to call themselves coaches because no one wants to be a personal trainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it has to mean something.
Yeah, I don't kind of get that title ick. Like, I still, if people ask me now, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, personal trainer, business owner, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I still say I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Technically, you still are. You're an online personal trainer.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. But coaching is definitely a different distinction. Like,
I wonder why that is. Why people have the ick to say they're a personal trainer.
yeah, maybe because it was a way of separating yourself from those personal trainers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that's why we went that way
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. Because, it's like personal training standards is so varied over such a long time frame that everyone has a different interpretation of what it means. So you want to try and...
Yeah.
I remember doing a podcast with Gavin Howard. He was just like talking about all the different inventions of what type of coach people are.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck is that? Like, you just made that up. Yeah. So I'll use strength coach quite a bit because it's like, okay, you coach people to be strong.
Yeah.
Not a strength conditioning coach. I won't get you conditioned for sport.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It just sounds cooler, I guess.
Yeah. So is there a difference? Because obviously anyone can just call themselves a coach, but in your mind,
Yeah.
when you define the difference between the two, is there one? Or
Yeah,
coach is just
yeah.
part of being a good PT?
I think so like a trainer has a distinct kind of role and outcome. So if you look at a trainer in it, like look at like an NFL team, like they'll have trainers that just tell the person to do the thing.
Yep.
And that's the role, and it's like that's all they're hired to do. It's like, work on the defense, work on the offensive line, and then you'll have a coach, which is trying to ensure that they do that task, but then making sure that they're recovered, making sure that their life's in order outside of the gym, making sure they've got adequate fuel and nutrition, make sure they understand the game plan overall. So it's like a more zoomed out kind of look at, kind of getting the best out of someone. So I think that's the easiest distinction when you look at like trainer to coach. Like coaching is like multifaceted.
Yep.
And coaching is, understanding how to get the most out of that person. And sometimes it's not just telling them what to do. It's getting them it's understanding where they're at and where they need to move. Where, a trainer's like, just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take more free throws.
Here's your program.
Yeah,
go do it.
Yeah, this is the drill for the day. Keep doing that.
Yeah. And then that crosses over into, again, I guess why people don't want to call themselves personal trainers, just like, here's the workout on the whiteboard.
Yeah, but when you think about it, like an online, a personal, like a coach, let's say a face-to-face coach, still is a trainer because you still go into the gym and go, this is how you squat.
Agreed.
So, and this is the program and this is what we're going to do today. So you're still doing training and you're still a trainer. It's just that you evolve into a coach when you understand how to get the most out of the person you're working with is multifaceted. It is lifestyle. It is this, it is that. It's, exploring their mentality. It's making sure they're fueled, their body's fueled. It's making sure they're recovered. It's not just like, I'm going to get the best out of them in the gym.
Yeah, and
training style.
Strategic planning too. Like a trainer has a program, whereas a coach formulates a long-term plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's layered though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's layered. It's not just the training.
Correct.
Yeah, because if you're like a trainer could just program for 6 months.
Yeah.
But it just leave the training.
Yeah.
Where the coach is like, this is the nutrition focus. This is what I want you to adopt outside of the gym.
Yep.
We talk about living that bodybuilding lifestyle. Like I always talk about that lifestyle. That's part of coaching. It's like, this is how you need to live outside of the gym.
Yeah, the lifestyle factors.
Correct. Yeah. So I think that's probably the easiest distinction of the two.
So what cool name can we...
I'm pretty happy with it.
No, it's for us. We can become like a lifestyle influential body composition specialist coach.
Isn't it? It's what's funny. Like over in the States, like lifestyle coaching is coaching Gen Pop.
Yeah. Okay.
So they call them lifestyle clients.
Yeah.
So you've got. So they say, I have a bodybuilding client. So if you're a bodybuilding client, you do bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the pursuit of bodybuilding, you're a lifestyle client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you could consider yourself a lifestyle coach then.
Yeah.
Because there's when you think about
affecting lifestyle.
Work with a Gen Pop client, What are you doing?
You need to change. Yeah.
Time management, your nutrition, recovery, training performance. There's so many layers. There's so many layers. So technically, it does make sense to have that title, but it's just got a bit of a unique name to it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people did a weekend course and decided to be lifestyle coaches.
Yeah.
A bunch of 20-year-olds telling grown men and women how to live their life.
Yeah.
It's a bit...
Yeah, it gets weird.
It's a bit of a tough spot.
Wellness coach is the best one.
Bit of a tough spot. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that mean?
That whole space is tough.
Well, our whole space is... We overlap with that.
Well,
right?
yeah, but I mean, like, it's still tough.
Yeah.
Like, again, I just feel, people with very little life experience telling people with way more life experience how to live their life is a little bit rich.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot to be.
Yeah. So what characteristics do you think you need to be a good coach?
Well, I have them written down because I knew I was going to ask this question.
Hold my beer.
So this is part of the workshop. So leadership is a really important one. You need to be a good leader. Like at the end of the day, you're hired to do a job, and that's because that person needs you for a reason. It's your expertise, your decision making, removing emotion out of the situation. Support, all of that kind of stuff. So I know there was this route that we went down as coaches to just be this like mate, this buddy, and you guys kind of always kind of take the journey together and hold each other's hands, and you both step up the step together.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that all the time.
Yeah.
I think there's a time for it, but I think overarchingly, like, you are the captain of the ship. You lead and you encourage that person to follow you or to go in a direction that they wanted to.
Yeah.
So you have to have skills of leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you bring people in on the scenario, but then sometimes you're like, nah, we're doing this.
Yeah. And
you need to, this is where we need to go. Because you're the expert. You've had the education. You've got the uniform. You've got the status. I'm not going, like I said yesterday.
And the influence too.
I'm not walking into the doctors going like, kind of think it's a throat infection. And then the doctor goes, yeah, what do you reckon? Like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, the doctor's just like, brother, you got a throat infection. Like, here you go. This is how you solve that.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to take that route. At some point, like, someone has to take the lead. And it's like whoever's being hired for the job, like, they have to have that.
Yep.
Yeah. Effective communication, super important. So we can't leave anything up to interpretation. It's funny, like, you will always slip into ineffective communication, situations, like, but it's just your awareness of it. So even like talking to the guys on the weekend, and even I've just like messaged people, and it's bad. Like, I can edit the comments. Yeah. So I was talking to Gemma. I can't remember what I said, and it was just, I was like, that's bad language.
Yeah.
And so I changed it. She goes, I saw that edit.
Yeah.
And we just laughed about it. I'm like, sorry, I said that's poor language. She's like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
She's like, I understand, but she's like, I also understand why you changed it.
Yeah.
So effective communication is important. So it's like, choose your words carefully.
Yeah.
Make your words mean something, and also make sure that everyone's on the same playing field. Because you and I talk about say the same words.
Yeah.
You could think one thing and I could think the other. So as a coach, you need to make sure we're clarifying a lot.
Yeah.
That it's like, so just clarifying everything. This is what's to be done. This is this is this is that. And then they say, yep.
Yep.
That's super, super, super important. Trust, huge. No one's going to do anything or listen, take someone's advice, get uncomfortable, push their boundaries, really fulfill their own potential if they don't trust the person that's encouraging them to do that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just, and then just think about the relationship you foster as well. Like, I'm going to go and say, like, the best clients that you have, 99% of those, you guys have like a really good trusting relationship where like they share their everything, nothing left off the table.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable saying like, look, man, this is what's going on at the moment, or I fucked up and I just didn't do what I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I appreciate you telling me. Mm-hmm. Let's go for it.
Yeah. Create an environment that's safe enough for someone to do that.
Yeah. So, like, really quick example. Again, I had a client 2-3 weeks out from her show. She's like, I overate. And I'm like, it wasn't a big deal. It was like 50 grams of cherry tomatoes, which is like 7 calories. But irrespective of all of that, to continue to build that trust, the first thing I said is, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Didn't tell them off.
Yeah.
Didn't say, and I was like, let's just focus on, moving forward. And I'm like, I appreciate you telling me. And I'm like, let's just make sure that we do this as infrequently as possible, but I don't care.
Yeah.
What's done is done.
Yeah.
It's like, what's more important, what's ahead. Huge example. And it's like, again, not an accident that I get exceptional results with that particular person.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and I think I'm going to go into... Have you got more of those?
There's heaps, bro.
Okay. One thing that I'd want to touch on with those ones that you've said so far is like why trainers get burnt out so often is because they lack the four we've already said.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not great at leadership. They don't create a trusting environment, and they're poor at communicating. So the three. Those things make coaching a lot of people, being bad at those things, really fucking hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you take on a lot of responsibility because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. So that combined with your outcome, my self-worth is determined by your outcome.
Yeah, yeah, and because you have an expectation that most likely exceeds the expectation of the person you're working with too.
Yeah.
So you're creating all of this extra, kind of stress,
tension,
for no reason.
Yeah.
Taking all of that on board, that's a shit show.
Yeah.
That's an emotional shit show to take that on all the time.
Yeah.
With 30 different people, or 20 different people, 15 different people.
Yeah, and you tell the story all the time of like the 6:30 Saturday night out for dinner with your wife, stressing about a client. It's like that's how you get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're just like at your wit's end. How do I get this thing to move? How do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when people are, I've gone in on it a lot because I've seen it heaps this year with just a group that we've seen like get to certain levels.
Yeah.
And that frustration starts to come in of who I work with, and I want to do this and I want to do that. I think those three things influence that too. You start looking at like, well, the client's not the client I want to work with, or I'm not fulfilled by face-to-face, or I'm not enjoying PT. And we see so many people that are doing okay that fall out of the industry, or they're just like, I'm exhausted, or they have that 6 client week that 6 people leave. And it's like, PT's not for me.
Yeah.
We obviously identify that it does come back to finance and managing your finances and stuff sometimes too. But if you're fucking like slogging it out, and it feels hard, when that happens and there's no money,
it's
like,
just
why
easy
the
to walk
fuck
away.
am I doing this?
Yeah, it's way easier to walk away when there's no fulfillment as
well.
Like,
why would you stay? You shouldn't. Like,
absolutely.
if you fucking hate
Makes
it
no sense.
and you're making no money, like, fuck, get out.
Absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
But, well, don't get out. Reflect on, are you good at those 3 things? Do you actually lead your clients? Do you actually communicate well? Do you create an environment that they trust you?
Yeah, and they can share everything with you.
Yeah.
Without judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's huge.